Welcome to the web series Exploring 9/11, The World Before and After, a production of the National September 11th Memorial and Museum. I'm Clifford Chanin of the Memorial Museum. I'm speaking today with Professor Vali Nasr of Tufts University. He teaches international relations and previously was on the faculty of the Naval Postgraduate College. He's also a senior adjunct fellow in Middle East Affairs at the Council on Foreign Relations and is the author of The Shia Revival: How Conflicts Within Islam Will Shape the Future. You write about recent events in the Middle East, whether it's the war in Afghanistan or the war in Iraq, and describe how these events have revived a historic conflict, differences between Sunni and Shia Islam. I wonder if we could go briefly into this, because we need to understand much about the differences between Sunni and Shia Islam. But if we can get to the conclusion first, how we arrived at a situation where events that were intended for other purposes have revived this conflict between these two great branches of Islam.
Well, in many ways, the political order in the Middle East that the war in Iraq was supposed to change was keeping in place a particular distribution of power that, among other things, put on top the Sunni sect of Islam, which is the majority sect of Islam, over the Shia sect of Islam, which is the minority sect of Islam. And across the Middle East, whether outside of Iran, in the Arab world, there are sizable Shia minorities and majorities, like in Iraq. But regardless of their numbers, they were excluded from representation, and in countries like Iraq, where they were actually a majority, were denied power altogether. And therefore, the Iraq war, in a way, opened the door for this imbalance to be corrected. So the war brought down a Sunni dictatorship, which, among other things, was suppressing its majority Shia population. The post-war era allowed for elections, and elections reflected the majority number of the Shias. So for the first time, you had the birth of a Shia Arab state, which had not existed before in history. So the very, very first impact of post-war Iraq on the Middle East was to bring to the fore the Shia side of the region in the form of a state in the Middle East.
If we think of 1 billion plus Muslims in the world, how do you break down the distribution between Sunni and Shia in that worldwide Muslim community?
Well, in the entire expanse of the Muslim world, out of that 1.3 billion Muslims, the Shias are an absolute minority. No more than maybe 10 to 15% of the world's Muslims are Shias. But the overwhelming majority of those Shias live between Lebanon and India. So in this middle part of the Muslim world, which is the area where most of the focus of America's engagement and interaction with the Muslim world has been, the numbers are not that lopsided. There might even be at a relative parity. So you have majority Shia countries like Iran, Azerbaijan, Iraq, Bahrain. In Lebanon, the Shias are the single largest community. And then you have sizable minorities of 20% of Afghanistan, 20% of Pakistan, maybe 10 to 15% of Saudi Arabia, 30% of Kuwait, 20% of United Arab Emirates. And all of this put together means that in the Middle East itself, the numbers are much more even. And that's exactly why disturbing the political order in the region that was allowing one side to dominate the other one politically proved to be so contentious.